Hi, I'm Jake, and I'm at the very beginning of an off-road motorcycle adventure. I've been riding motorcycles for about 8 years now, and the majority of that time has been on pavement. I started on the Suzuki Boulevard that I bought from a friend, but I sold that and transitioned to a 2012 BMW R1200R, and then I also inherited my dad's Triumph Bonneville T214 that he gave to me after he wisely decided to stop riding. When I have the opportunity to get out and ride, it's usually in the canyons west of Loveland, Colorado, or up in Rocky Mountain National Park. I love those twisty, turny mountain roads, but occasionally I'll see a dirt road that intersects the pavement, and it piques my curiosity. This past riding season, though, that curiosity has gotten the best of me, and I've often found myself way too far down a dirt road on a roadster with slick tires. It's usually not a problem, and I make it back to pavement, but there have been a few times this year where the rain and the slick sections of clay made me realize that I have the wrong tool for the job. My brother-in-law Georg and I were lucky enough to spend 5 days on the motorcycles this year, touring around Colorado. On the last day, I convinced him that we ought to try Stillwater Pass, which is a jeep trail that comes across from Highway 125 south of Rand, Colorado, over to Grand Lake. A few months prior, a friend of mine told me that my motorcycle would make it over Stillwater Pass, but I'm guessing that he had no idea what type of motorcycle I had. Once we started to climb up out of the valley, the road became very steep and slick from the rain that had gone through earlier that day. The BMW was doing okay though, until we hit a really slick section and the back tire tried to swap ends on me. Above that section, there was another section that was loaded with baby head rocks, and that went on for miles. There were other sections that were smooth, slippery clay, but we took our time and eventually we made it down to Grand Lake just as the sun was setting. So much for seeing the beautiful views of Rocky Mountain National Park along Trail Ridge Road during the daytime. I was not doing my job very well as a tour guide, but I was hooked on the off-road. The challenge of riding Stillwater Pass was the exact culmination of that trip that I was looking for. After the dust settled on that trip, the idea of starting an off-road motorcycle adventure came bursting in my head. It had probably been simmering there for a while, but the dirt road experiences of the past year, and especially from that trip, lit a fire that couldn't be put out. I have a strong desire to explore places I've never been, and the challenge of learning something new has always been exciting to me. I called Georg to talk about it a little bit, and he didn't try to talk me out of it. So here we go. The first goal of this is to create a video journal of learning to ride adventure motorcycles off-road. The second goal is to document off-road adventure routes in Colorado and beyond. And the third goal is to understand the off-road motorcycle adventure culture. So the rough plan here is to sell my old Tacoma and put that money towards the purchase of an adventure motorcycle. Once that's done, I'll start looking at adventure motorcycles, weighing the pros and cons of each, and select the right one for me. And finally, layer on the smallest number of accessories required to get started. So, that's the plan. Time to get started. Thanks for watching.